Hi, y'all, and welcome to Monday Night's Treasure Vortex with Gypsy Jewels from GypsyDigs.com, as well as YouTube's Zero Discrimination, and myself, Amanda Digger Degaz. We'll get right to it. So, hey, Gypsy, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. I am doing okay. How about yourself?
Yep,
Crazy
holding,
day. Holding on,
holding
strong,
on.
trying.
Yeah, yep. I think I'm replacing the marbles that I'm losing by finding them
Aw,
while being out. So, yep, yippers.
I
Oh my.
get it. I get it.
So.
Um,
Treasure!
Sorry, I was trying to
Yay!
see. Yay, treasure! You know, one thing that we got to look forward to, all of us, and it's what keeps me going, and I'm sure it keeps you going, especially through hard times and stuff like that, is the thought of being able to get out and treasure hunt, and each time, it's always that, I don't know about you, but that keeps me sane, or what I think is sane. Like you said, gotta go find some extra marbles
Yeah.
sometime. Ah, you know what I mean, though,
I
right?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I do think that even spending a little bit of time out helps clear my brain. I feel like almost one with the earth and one with history. I mean, these places that we're digging, especially up here, we find a lot of relics. So it was pretty good though. I do have to say, John dragged me out. Not dragged me. It didn't take much. No twisting of the arm. I got out last week and I detected for a couple days in the afternoon after I got done work. Um, we had still had that cooler weather, so it was in the 70s. Wasn't too bad. It's a field that we've detected once before with a group, and we were only allowed on that field for that, afternoon and then the next afternoon. So, as a group, we weren't even on this. I forget how many acres it is, but we weren't even on that field for that long. So it's been a lot of fun getting back over there. I ended up digging a padlock that still has the brass lock plate cover, and eh, I got a. I've noticed that when I dig old barn sites up here, I find a lot of the rosettes that have the glass in them that would have a picture behind the glass or initials or something. But almost all the times the barns have been burned down or there was a fire. So each of the glass pieces is like bubbly and strange. And I dug one this week that was perfectly intact in the brass, the rosette piece with the hook, and it looks like there might be an image behind, but I'm gonna have to do some
Oh,
research on how to figure out if there's a way to clean it. I'm not really sure. So, but
huh.
but that was
Well,
pretty.
keep us posted on that. That
Oh
is
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. And then it was nice. Obviously, it's always fun to get out with other people, and obviously even more fun with John going out with me. So it was funny though. I know a lot of people have asked in the past if I had seen The Detectorists, which is, I think, an Amazon Prime show. And I thought it was something else. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. No, no, I hadn't seen it. And it is a riot. It is so funny.
What is
It's
it?
such a good show. It's called The Detectorists.
Oh, with the two
And
guys from the UK?
yeah, yeah. And
Oh, I love that
it is a
show.
hoot.
Oh
So
my gosh.
John and I are walking out into this
Oh, it's
field in the
hilarious.
afternoon for the very first time, and we both looked at each other, and he started humming the theme song. And, each piece of trash we dug, we looked at each other and went, pull tab.
Well,
Um,
and I think they use the terms of biscuit wrapper,
yeah,
I love the English humor, it is so funny. And I remember when that show first came out, it was so hilarious. My son is the one that found it and said, "Hey, Mom, check this out." And so he sat there and watched the whole first season with me and my oldest son. it was so funny that he wanted to watch it with me and share that with me. And just the humor, yeah. And then when he pulls out the magnifying glass and he's looking at the full tab, this is circa 1972, Pepsi edition of,
Yep,
you know, you know what I'm saying.
I
It's
do.
hilarious. If any of you have not heard of it, I highly recommend. It will give you a laugh. And the club thing. I can't even remember the first. I think it had the metal detecting club in the first season, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, but I think there's 3 seasons, isn't there?
We've watched them all, and yes, I think it was 3 seasons, and they're talking about bringing it back. So,
Wonderful,
yeah, yep.
wonderful.
But that was a fun way to. I think when John and I watched it, it was like the monsoons that were coming down here, so we were staying dry and watching that. And, doing anything but cleaning up the relics I have that I need to clean or organizing. Put that off.
Speaking of cleaning, you mentioned that lock
Hmm.
a while ago that you dug. Now, I I love how you're taking, these before and after photos, and I think it's important too. That's important too with a lot of diggers that dig coins as well that don't need that type of cleaning like what I'm talking about silver coins and stuff. A lot of them these days get accused of, oh, that wasn't a dug coin or something like that. And because they don't always show, from the
The
time they dug it
befores.
up, a lot of them don't have videos or anything like that, so they're accused of some of this stuff. And there are plenty of fakers out there. I'm not saying that there isn't, but what I'm getting at, I love the before photos and that you're taking, and then the cleaning process. And I think it's really neat to see that and see how the restoring and like we can talk about restoring some of these items that are very that are rare that and stuff, but this lock isn't, it's something was very, very rusty before and stuff like that, where now you're showing the before where it was so rusty I bet you could hardly even make out the brass pieces on it, could you?
I could only make out the nameplate, and that's because, I used my glove. Out there. I mean, that was what was giving the like, technically, that was what was giving the tone, the higher tone, was the amount of copper or whatever that's part of the padlock. I'm pretty sure that's why it was such a higher tone, because I was in all metal mode, so I was getting the grunt for the iron because the padlock itself is all iron. But I was still getting that high pitched, so I dug it and turned out to be a pretty sweet padlock. So yeah, I went back and I know that Detect Ed, um, up here from the All Metal Militia, he does a lot of work with iron relics. So I went back and checked out another one of his videos, and I've been told before a lot of people use vinegar, so I threw another padlock that I had found that was kind of junky and a couple other items and sat them in vinegar, and I knew I was going to be away for the weekend. So therefore you always get that wanting to peek
Oh
to
yeah.
pull it out of the process and check it and this, that. But I knew I was going to be away, so I'm like, okay, perfect time. I'll, soak them. That way I'll be gone for 3 days and check them when I get back. So that's what I did. But yeah, like you said, I wanted for myself as well to show, okay,
Hmm.
this is what I did. This was the process for myself as a reminder. I have it in my phone. So I know that I, you know, I took these items. This is how much I put in there. This is how long it sat. This is what they look like before. This is what they look like in the middle. and this is what I had to do. One of them I actually had to take back out, and it is just so chunked with iron. I never chipped any of it off or tapped it or anything like that. So I was
Right.
like, I probably should have done that before I soaked it. So learning as I go, learning as I go.
Well, and that's typical of a lot of treasure hunters, especially even newbies or people that, like us, that have been detecting a long time. You know, I may have been detecting for 23 years, but something that recently happened to me, and I know he was only trying to help, but my father decided, oh, well, Gypsy has this uh, coin tumbler that she tumbles her clad coins in. Well, I'm going to go take some of these fines because I had some jars that separated with some of my fines in it, and
Hmm.
he threw my fines in that coin tumbler. These were stuff that I didn't want cleaned. I like the green patina and that type of stuff on a lot of my finds. I like to keep it back to the natural state of where I dug it. A lot of times I don't even use, I just use a brush and that's
Yeah.
it. Or if
Yep.
it's something else, I just use water and that's it. I don't use a bunch of soap and scrubbing and all of that. It's a big no-no. So he did that, and I tried to gently scold, like, "Oh, thanks for trying to help." But there were certain things I had it separated a certain way, and I didn't want to clean, that way. I mainly use that coin tumbler for certain items. Um, but that's me, and every digger's
Yeah,
different as well.
absolutely.
I understand. Um, but for me, I like to keep it like that. Um, and then coins, you really got to be careful, of course, because you can devalue the coins. So that's another thing. But like what you're talking about is this rusty old lock that you pulled out, um, and you're kind of experimenting with this because normally you and we've used a lot of CLR
Yeah.
to clean a lot of those our stuff.
And a vapor
Um,
rust and
a vapor rust, CLR. Um, and for me, I have a video. It's maybe a couple of years old at least, on how to make a ugly box. What do you
oh,
call it?
electrolysis.
Electrolysis. How to make an electrolysis out of an old phone charger. And I have a video on that as well. And what I like, I mean, I rarely use electrolysis. Usually it's on something like the lock that you had, something like that, something really rusty that I really, And for me, electrolysis is a little bit of an experiment sometimes too. Like I think you used it on your guns that you dug up that time,
Yes. Yeah.
correct?
That's what killed the electrolysis machine
Uh,
that I made. Because I had the clips on it. I didn't do the copper roping all the way around the guns that I had found,
uh,
which was, yeah, that's what hurt it.
hmm. Well, so tell us about the vinegar, and do you dilute it? What do you use? What process? What are you doing? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I have been, what I ended up doing is taking, what's it called? Just white distilled vinegar and a couple Tupperwares and set everything in the Tupperwares. And um, right now it's, yeah, I had done that on Thursday and it's still, one of them is basically clean and I took it out yesterday afternoon. And the other padlock that I have in there is, it's still sitting. It needs some work. That's the one that what I should have done first and foremost was actually chunk off some of the rust, and I did not. So, but yeah, you let it sit. It sounded like on average around 6 days, 5 to 6 days, depending on the item. And yeah, we'll figured I'd go from there and see how it looks and how it turns out. And yeah,
Cool.
but how
Well,
about
I'm
your?
anxious to hear more about that because I do know that one experiment I did with electrolysis, I used vinegar in with, I think, what's the baking powder or whatever I used
Mm-hmm.
to accelerate it. When I poured the white vinegar in there, it really accelerated things. Um, so if you want to speed that up, that process, you can pour the vinegar in your electrolysis, and it really helps speed it up as well.
That's awesome.
Um, so that's something to think about too for those of you that do the electrolysis. But be sure, I think I showed that in one of my videos too. If you go back to my building electrolysis from an old phone charger video. So it's really fun. Um, now, you and I, have you used it on any of your buttons from the button dump?
The um the vinegar? No. That
Not yet.
was yeah, no, I stick to what we did with the Vapor Rust. I really like the fact that it doesn't damage or change the coloring of the buttons because I noticed that the CLR, if you leave it too long, it will change that coloring, and I don't like
Yes,
that.
it
And
does. I don't either.
um,
I don't either. You
so
gotta really be right there and let it only to get that first little crust off sometimes. You can't leave it in long at all for sure. That's why I'm curious about the vinegar.
yeah, no, I mean the vinegar seems to be working pretty awesome right now. The thing is, yeah, I definitely need to let it sit a little bit longer, and yeah, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it comes out good. The other thing I've been doing is, so if anybody has watched Gypsy's videos on when her and I went to New York and we were mudlarking and stuff, we found a lot of pretty corroded items that are copper, brass, even silver, and they're just heavily corroded and damaged. And it's a brackish water, but on top of it, it was burned. So everything like that. I pulled out the Dremel kit and put like a abrasive brush on it. So like what I thought I had found, and I know we had talked about it, I thought I had found my first military ID tag. And after listening to Meryl and Nicola, she had found one when she came to visit the last few weeks at the same spot. And Meryl informed her that back in the day, when the threat of nuclear war, the children in New York school systems all wore identification tags, similar to the military tags. So I pulled out the tag that I thought was the military ID tag that was just so heavily corroded and took the Dremel to it, and I'm actually able to see her name's Mary, and it was part of the public school system in New York so it was 1939. And I was like, oh, that's so
Wow.
neat. But I wasn't able to see anything really on it until I took that Dremel brush to it. I'm like, oh, that cleaned it up really
Wow.
well.
Well, you know, I've heard of a lot of people using that and stuff like that. It's just kind of like the pencils. They make one of the pencils that has like that little,
Oh yeah, yep. The
you know what I'm
brush,
talking
bristle
about, the
brush,
brush
or
thing
yeah.
on the end. What? It's not even bristles. What is it? You know what I'm
Uh,
talking about?
I
It's
do.
almost like steel wool. What it's
Yes,
like.
it's probably what it is.
It's probably what it is, but it's so tiny, and you can use it for that fine tuning, cleaning those little spots. So I can imagine by speeding that up with the Dremel tool, you can probably clean some of that up really fast and efficient, especially the type of fines we were pulling out when we were mudlarking, because a lot of that stuff went through burnings and all kinds of melted things melting on top of it and then being tossed around with erosion and the salt water and everything. So, yeah, I can imagine. Now, Paul, Barefoot Paul, said, and I love it, he had mentioned in chat that he put a little Vicks Vapor Rub after he cleaned his buttons to kind of help preserve. Never heard of that, but hey, if it works and preserves, That's pretty cool. And I know that, like, we sell it at Digger's Den, and I know a lot of people use this. And I have a little, but I really haven't used it on many items. It's that, do you know what I'm talking about? It's kind of
The wax.
a salve wax stuff that you put on top of some of your finds that you want to preserve. And have you used much of that?
I do not like it.
You don't?
No.
Tell us why you don't like it.
I feel like you need to put it on items in a giant open space, or else you'll end up with a headache. Um, it's got like a pure gasoline smell to it, to me anyway.
Yeah.
And then I actually think the historical or the archaeological society in the UK actually came out and said that that is actually not good to be used on finds. I'll have
Really?
to, yeah, I've just stopped saying actually, but I will, I will have to go look and find the article on it, and they explained why.
It
I'm,
seems like one thing that it might be better on than other things. Maybe not on buttons and stuff like that, but maybe in like sealing some of the stuff like the iron. I wonder,
hmm.
what do you think about that? Like, like after you clean the lock to keep that corrosion from breaking down, or like a lot of people I know that some people actually paint like the cannonballs and stuff. That's always kind of bothered me. But what do you think of all that?
Well, I think they use a Rust-Oleum on it. And that's what I was
Okay.
contemplating, either using the Rust-Oleum or using a mineral oil or something that you would use on, say, tools and weapons. And but I did a couple other items. Like I had found one of those old school can openers, with the point in the so that's sitting in there. So I have a couple items that I don't care if they kind of get ruined, but it was more so for the process and then to try the different techniques out at the end to see which one I like the best. I
Mhm.
know, I know Steph's done a really good video too of her. I don't remember if it was electrolysis or if she used vinegar or CLR, but I remember her actually putting the items in the oven at a very low temperature, but for a long period of time to kind of like absorb, like get the rest of the moisture out of the item and dry it out, and then ended up um, clearing it and putting, I think it was
Right.
Rust-Oleum on it. Yeah, and they turned out really nice. So again,
Hmm.
I think, like you said before, we each have our own process of cleaning. And I mean, even if someone's got a really good process, I still feel as though I could screw it up. Um,
Yeah.
so it's more so you just got to get the hang of it and work on items that you won't cry if it totally destroys what's there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Well, yeah, and like I said, I rarely use my ugly box, my electrolysis, only on those high iron stuff that I really, want to take time on. But like I said, like you're trying out with the vinegar, I speed it up a little by adding the vinegar in my electrolysis. But I'm all for. I like to. Sometimes I'm not very patient on cleaning stuff.
yeah, that's why I
But
was like,
again, it goes back to me not wanting to clean a lot of my finds. I like like certain things, yeah, like your lock, you definitely want to clean something like that. But most of my items, I don't want to clean it. I really like
the
the
patina on
green
it. Yeah.
patina and this patina that comes when it comes out of the ground, and once you just clean it off just a little, I like that. But anyway, that's just me though.
Yeah. No, I agree. The patina, like I like the green patina as well on some of the items that I have. Uh, the rust items, even the rust on some items looks really neat. It's just some of these, like the padlocks and stuff, I want to see what it shows underneath because there could be carvings in it, or there could be actual manufacturer's name stamped in it, or a date. So,
Right, exactly.
but also, so with some of those items, once it's done as well, if there's little like chunks of rust or whatnot, I'll use the Dremel on it too. So there's like a lot of process that um,
Yeah.
to figure out
Yeah, and
how
it
I
really
want it.
does. It really depends on the person, how they want to preserve that item, how they want to display that item, and, you know, um, how much they want to clean it, you know.
Yeah.
I because I'm happy with, I dig it up, I get most of the dirt off. Hey, there's still some of my finds that still have some of the original dirt
Yeah. Yeah.
on
Same.
there. And I know this sounds really weird. This wasn't even a find, but my dad came in the other day and he brought this flashlight and he was like, "Hey, look, I cleaned this flashlight. It has dirt all over it." I go, "Oh, Dad, that's the flashlight that I took when I was down in the Beyond Oak Island episode where we went down in the mine. That was dirt from the mine that I left on there." He's like, "Oh, I didn't mean." I know that sounds a little crazy, but I just left it. uh,
I'm cheating. I'm watching I pulled up the dig stock quick to see if there was going to be a fall, and there is.
okay.
Upstate New York, October 29th and 30th, dig stock events.
Hey, Tim wants to know, Amanda, can you give any tips on the Dremel tool, like how you were using it, and anything that you've learned so far? Maybe some tips on that. Maybe you've overcleaned, or maybe you've gotten different results. You have any tips to share?
So the Dremel tips that I'm using are the abrasive, they're finishing abrasive buffs, and what is the other one called? Yeah, they're basically like abrasive buffs, and
Okay,
the
some more of a buffer,
yeah,
not like okay,
I that way I'm not going too far in and I don't damage the item.
exactly. Yes.
As I get better using the Dremel, I will probably use the other types of tips, but that's what I'm currently using to get a handle on how to use the Dremel. Um,
Mhm.
One thing too, safety. I found that some of these corrosive items, I've got the protector on it, but I still
Mhm.
wear goggles, not goggles, safety glasses, which is good because this last
Smart.
time I caught the edge of that military ID, which is not a military ID, and it went
Right.
flying and hit me in the eye, but not in the
Oh,
eye because I was wearing glasses. So I was like, oh, well, that was fortunate.
thank goodness you were wearing those. Yeah,
Um,
and that's important too with just the little bitty stuff that's coming off besides the big chunk of metal like that flying and trying to hit you in the eye. I remember when I was young, my dad hammering and he was building something and I was standing right there and a piece of metal flew in my eye, and talk about bad. Had to have it removed, and that was a whole nightmare in itself. But yeah, just for protection, it's always best to wear, safety glasses when you're cleaning some of those flies with, like what
when,
you were doing, that flying in your
yeah.
eye. That's terrible.
Well, again, I knew, I could hear John in my head going, you need to be prepared. You should wear gloves. Probably, I had my jeans on in case any of those items flicked off and like hit me. And then the safety glasses. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it safe. So I don't have to be like, hey, I'm in the hospital. Can you,
It's kind of
which,
like, go ahead, finish.
no, just,
No, it just reminded me of how many times I hear people like, "Oh man, I was digging and this such and such. I got this happened to their hand. They're or this rusty piece of thing that they were digging, and they weren't wearing gloves. I don't know how many times things have went through my gloves. So it's really important, safety with gloves and eyes when you're doing like what you're doing, but gloves when you're metal detecting too. I can't tell you how many times that saved my hands.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. So I'll take them for the metal detecting and then I'll forget to throw them back in my truck. I need some more. But I forgot to throw them back in my truck for mudlarking. So I constantly get that comments on videos and whatnot, like, why aren't you wearing gloves? And I'm like, well, when you drive 25 minutes, 30 minutes away and you realize you forgot your gloves, you're not going to leave and be like, oh, well, I can't do this because I don't have gloves.
Right, right.
So yeah, I
I
need to
try to
get
keep
better at that.
extras and stuff in my vehicle. Yeah. I was just thinking that Aggie, she almost became a pirate. She would have needed that eye patch. She wouldn't wear her safety glasses. But you'd have been a true pirate, eh?
I definitely would have. I definitely would have. Now I know this is kind of impromptu, but if you guys all heard that scrounging and round noise, I was looking. I knew we had a bunch of giveaway stuff, and we have one 2XL Treasure Vortex podcast 100% cotton shirt left. I didn't know if maybe
Yeah. You
if
want to
you'd
do a
like to.
giveaway? Let's do
Yeah,
it.
why not? I've got that, and then I've got one other thing, but we'll do them separate. So, we'll do the t-shirt now. So if you'd like to get in on the Treasure Vortex, it's black with white lettering, 100%. Actually, I think it's navy. It could be navy. Um, it's super, super soft. If you'd like to get in on that giveaway, if you could just put your name so I can make sure to put a number by your name. And then I'll have numbers and people written down and we'll do
Yeah,
the
while you are
random.
doing that, I'm going to take a little quick bathroom break. I'm going to
All
disappear
right,
for a sec.
sounds good. Sorry, Karen. No, I'm all out of mediums. Got another order coming in that was supposed to be in like 2.5 weeks ago that maybe will arrive this week. I've no idea. So hopefully at some point. All right. I got ORH. I got Mike. Anybody else want a t-shirt? And obviously I'd throw in a sticker pack because you you know, can't listen to the show and do a giveaway without having a sticker pack. So, and all right, we have
And you
Aggie,
got to say it like
Bill.
Amanda. Sticka, sticka, sticka pack.
Sticker pack. Yes, yes, you got to say it like
So I
me.
have the random number thing. Speaking of
Six,
giveaways, while y'all are make sure
seven.
we've got your name in there, and so we can put you in the drawing. But speaking of drawings, I'll be making some special announcements tomorrow. I'm going to try to do something around 11:30 my time, hit people around lunchtime. I'm going to do a live stream. I'll make a couple big announcements. So y'all be sure and join in. If you're not able to make my live stream, what I will do, I mean, you can always go back and listen later. So I won't be doing an actual giveaway, but I will be making some announcements. One happens to be about a giveaway. So the other is another big announcement. So y'all be sure and check out my live stream tomorrow if all goes planned. It'll be somewhere around noonish, 11:30 Central maybe. I'm not for sure. I kind of have to play it by ear, but somewhere in that time frame. So y'all be sure and make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, and some things that you might not want to miss. So anyway, I think we're about ready. We're about ready for a sticker pack and some t-shirts.
I think so. It's crazy. I'm also getting text messages that are going, we're listening. We're not in chat. Chat won't work. So
Ah,
we'll do the giveaway in a second. But if you are listening right now and you cannot get into chat and you're struggling and it's not working. Can you please send us an email at it's tv.treasurevortex@gmail.com. I'm trying to get enough of a complaint and a write-up of what's going on to send to Spreaker on the amount of people who are struggling to actually get into our chat to see if it's something going on or I know I've heard from quite a few people in the last couple of weeks that it has been daunting trying to get signed in to be in our
Really?
chat. So, yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think the more I hear feedback of what's going on, the more I can complain to Spreaker and go, "We pay money to do the show. You're screwing us."
Right.
So, yippers.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, it could be operator error, but with the amount of people, I don't think it is, but
That
I'm
is
not sure.
strange.
Because it's
Strange.
not like the usual like two or three. Like I'm hearing feedback from like 12 to 13 people. So I don't know. It could be.
Hmm.
But all right, we have Brian, I'm not sure. Did you want to get in on the shirt that we're giving away? Mr. Yearden? Maybe? Maybe? Anybody else listening? Richie? Anybody? Karen? Ah, people are signing in through Facebook.
Hmm.
Operator's error. You're funny, Bill. All right. Do you have it ready to go?
I am ready. You tell me the
All
number, and we will
right.
roll.
We will go. Changed. Hold on.
Okay.
So 1 through 13.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Generate. All right. I got the number. Y'all ready?
And yes,
Number 10. Number 10 is a
number
lucky winner.
10 is Roger Smith.
Roger.
So TV, Treasure, Vortex.
And Roger, you can message me and um, I can get your shipping address and send it to Amanda so she can get that shipped for you.
Fantastic.
Or you can email.
Congratulations. It's so soft. These shirts came out like so nice, except the sizes were all like, I don't know what I did. I
I
don't
was
know what I
wearing
did. That
my
was
Treasure
operator
Vortex. I
operator
was wearing
error.
my Treasure Vortex shirt just yesterday.
Fantastic. Me
Maybe I'll wear
too.
it tomorrow for my live stream.
Awesome.
I want to get
Awesome.
all colors. I need to get all colors. I
And they
really
really
do.
do have so many colors. That's one of the
Hmm.
things right now. They've got such a good collection of it all. Um,
So if some of you are wanting to get, do we have the link to our Treasure Vortex, how to get a t-shirt or some swag, where they can go to the Teespring link?
nope.
You don't. Is it on our website?
I can't bring it up right now because it will, the two systems don't run consecutively type of
Well,
thing. It will crash our system. So I can't.
uh,
So either
okay.
way, we're on Spring Tea or Teespring or whatever it's called under Treasure
Teespring.
Vortex. So if
Okay.
you'd like some, that would be. And then I had one other giveaway, and it is so there is a TikToker, and he's also on Facebook and Instagram. He goes by Cop Top, and I go mudlarking and find old base bottoms of bottles. So the really thick old
Mhm.
glass. I ship them to him, and he hand naps them into arrowheads. So we
And
also
they are
have,
beautiful.
they are really pretty. So this one is an aquamarine, like one of the light bluish colored glasses. Really pretty. It's in a nice, what are they called? Floating case. And we'll be doing that for a giveaway here as well, if anybody would like to win that, if you could just drop your name in the chat and we can do this all over. Or send me a text if you can't get in chat.
Any new ones?
No, you have, you just posted a new video too, didn't you? Your
I
part 2?
did. It was actually when you and I were up in New Hampshire at Bone, part 2, and I got a really amazing coin while I was there. You're in the video.
Yeah.
And y'all need to go check that out, because when you hear one of my announcements tomorrow for the giveaway and stuff, you're going to need to at least watch the last 4 videos of my YouTube channel, because there's some questions in order that you'll have to answer correctly to be entered in my drawing, my giveaway. So be sure and watch my last 4 latest videos if you haven't already. I think my last 4 videos, I think you're in all of them, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think so. Yep. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, because
So,
you're catching back up
yeah.
from the trip up here.
Yep. So y'all be sure and check out my last 4 videos. And once you learn those questions, you might even have to go back and rewatch parts to get the actual fact if you can't remember. But you're going to want to watch those. So when I do my big drawing, when I make some announcements tomorrow, and then when it comes time, and you may want to be in one of these drawings, you're going to want to watch those videos. So be sure and go to Zero Discrimination, Detecting with Gypsy, and watch my last 4 videos. Some of them are really short. One of them is only like 7 minutes long. I think another one's like 10 minutes long. There is one that's a little longer. I think it's like 30-something minutes, or maybe even 40. I don't know. But anyway, when you get a chance, I appreciate it. Appreciate your support. And you'll hear those special announcements tomorrow around noon. If you miss them, you can go back and watch the special announcement. So, are we ready for our next drawing of this gorgeous arrowhead napping? Do we have, is it 13 people again?
No, I think some people dropped out. I'm not sure. I don't see.
Be sure and drop a comment if you want. You can just say hi again, or I don't know. Put your name. Travis, Bill, Mike.
Yep.
If you want in the next drawing, go ahead and drop your name.
Yep, I have
so we
Travis,
can add you.
Bill, Aggie, Karen, Swamp Fox, Brian, Jersey Ray, Paul Barefoot. Anybody I didn't say? Oh, Richie. There, right, Richie's there. And 9, and Mike. 10. And Paul B, I got you. And Paul F, Paul Forse. 11.
What happened to Patrick? Swamp.
Ed on 12. Tim. 13. If I didn't say your name, I'm gonna just do this for a couple more seconds and then move on. Move on. Tim who? Tim Ill Digger.
All right. We're ready for random.org?
1 through 13.
Okay, here we go. Generate. Number 2.
Number 2. Paul Barefoot.
Yay, Paul. Congratulations. Be sure and email us.
And
get us your address.
TV Treasure, Vortex. at gmail.com. And again, when this next batch of lots, it's not just shirts, it's tons of goodies. When it comes in, we're going to have giveaways for both those listening live in chat as well as listening later on, because I do know a lot of people, they'll download the episode and listen while they're commuting or while they're working. So we will have a lot of awesome giveaways. I know we've got quite a few silvers to give away, some accessories. So it should be a fun time, a fun time. But I do have to say, um, Gypsy and I are taking next Monday off. So there will be no show
Yes.
Monday, July 4th.
July the 4th, my son is here. We're going to celebrate with family. And so we're going to be taking that time off. So y'all have a happy 4th. And we will be missing you, but we will also be having some fun time with our families. And we hope you do too. And if you're not doing that, hopefully you're out metal detecting. I know here in Texas, yesterday it was 102. So what did I do? I got to go off-roading with my son. It was a blast. I had so much fun.
That's awesome.
So anyway, do you have plans to go treasure hunting?
Nope.
On the 4th? Nope.
I have absolutely no plans as of right now, except maybe sleeping.
Okay.
Sleeping, yeah, that would be good. Also getting caught back up, making sure the guests that we do have scheduled are still available and can still come on, because that's that's the key, is to make sure that everything is still gonna keep running smoothly. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of summer. Treasure hunting. I know that it's supposed to be getting on the road on a couple different places, so that will be exciting. And I think there's a question for you in chat, Gypsy. What kind of off-roading are you doing? Trucks, four-wheelers, or side-by-sides?
So some of you know that I recently got a Toyota FJ. It's got some big wheels on it. So yesterday we went up the road. There is an off-roading trails, and I started on the beginner trail because it was my first time doing it. I'd been with some friends before to kind of get a feel for it, but yesterday I tried it for the first time with my FJ, and I really had a lot of fun. The reason why I bought that vehicle was because treasure hunting sometimes takes you into some precarious places where you need a four-wheel drive. A 4x4, you know what I mean? So, and sometimes you have to, do some rocky territory, or you may have to cross a creek or stuff like that. So I wanted to be able to do that because sometimes metal detecting, treasure hunting takes you into some of these areas. So, yeah, I need a stepladder. Luckily, I got to sidestep, so getting out of my vehicle and getting up in my vehicle, yeah, and I'm so short, it's a little hard, but I had fun, and it's my gypsy wagon, my treasure gypsy wagon, so
yeah, it's awesome.
It's fun. So I enjoy it. I know you have four-wheel drive on yours, and that's probably why you got a four-wheel drive vehicle too, because sometimes, you get on these permissions and you never know. You definitely don't want to be the one stuck.
Yeah. Nope.
So.
I don't. I did notice, though, before I headed up north this past weekend, I did the walk around the truck and was making sure my tires were good and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, look at all these scratches. And I'm like, yeah, those were trees and those were bushes. And that was, I've got all those fine line scratches all over it. So she needs to be taken in and cleaned up and given a good polish and wax. So. Yes. So that's one thing too. you don't realize. And then the best thing too, when you lean your shovel and your detector on it, and all of a sudden they slide all the way over and down it. Those have left some nice marks on the truck too. Um, Main pinstriping. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I was worried about pinstriping yesterday going through some of those trails. There is a lot of branches that are starting to,
Yeah.
a little out of hand. I think they need some trimming. Don't want that kind of pinstriping. But I am planning on getting it wrapped with my logo and stuff. So that should be fun.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, we thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the giveaways. Be sure and tune in tomorrow, live stream around noonish. And if you miss it, that's okay. The live stream, be sure and check it out later. Got some big announcements. And anyway, what else? Anything we're missing here?
I don't think so. Oh, I know that the temperatures are getting up now for everywhere. Stay hydrated. Make sure you're, staying cool. Don't overheat yourself. Don't overwork yourself. Try to get your mind off things. Get out, visit nature, find some treasure. That's all I got.
Well, we love you all, and we thank you for your support, and we appreciate you. And you all have a wonderful night and a happy 4th next week. And until next time, we'll see you on the next. Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.